Hi everyone, this is my Cohort 21 action and engagement story. My name is Kayla Blackmore, and I am currently the Director of Athletics and Co-Curricular Activities at Ross A. Netherwood School. This is a photo of me miking up a player during our hockey practice, and while it's not the most flattering photo, I think it shows a lot about who I am in the sense that I often enjoy juggling many different things and trying to be innovative, trying to create a fun and inclusive environment for all of our students, and really trying to promote the amazing programs that we have here at our school. I'm also very excited to announce that as of July 1st of this year, I will be taking on a new role as a Director of Student Life and Wellness at our school, and I'm incredibly excited about this opportunity to shift my focus to students and really their experience here on our campus and in the world that we live in today, and really take our next steps as a school in our Jedi work, and really continue to build our inclusive, safe, and diverse community. And my Twitter handle and Cohort 21 blogs are linked here as well. So I love this quote, and I love Brené Brown. She is almost a religious figure for me, and somebody I feel I connect with on many levels of thought. And she talks about connection, really, helping people feel seen, heard, and valued, and this idea of, strength of relationships coming from this lack of judgment, and really, an open opportunity to connect with people. And so for me, this is something that I pride myself on. For me, building relationships with students and colleagues is remarkably important, and something that is really foundational to all of the work that I do and will continue to do in my new role. So this year I came into Cohort 21 knowing a little bit about what was expected, but also being incredibly surprised by just how amazing it can be. So I really set out with the plan of, understanding how we might meaningfully integrate Jedi learning into our curriculum and school culture, as opposed to seeing it as something that we need to address or deal with as a checkbox. And I was incredibly excited to see that Jedi was a stream of focus this year for Cohort, and really resonated with the work that I am trying to do in our school community, and have been really excited about working with some members of our community to make those changes as well. So, really focusing in on this idea of like meaningful change and meaningful education, as opposed to just, checking off a box that yes, inclusion is something that we do, and yes, diversity is something that we have, but really making it a central focus to our community. And it's really hard to summarize all of the learning that you've experienced throughout a really amazing year and challenging year on one slide. But I think for me, this idea of learning about your students, and I've been really pleasantly surprised by just how passionate and engaged our students have been with this work. How keen they've been to be involved in some of the changes that we've made, how passionate they are about having their voices heard and amplified in our community. And that's been something for me that has really been eye-opening, and something where in a school where you often have to try to pull students in and get them excited about content, this type of content and this type of discussion, it happens naturally. Students are keen to get involved. They're keen to make a difference. So for us, it was really eye-opening to, maybe we need to be speaking about this more often, and maybe we need to be including their voices and listening first as opposed to teaching. And that was certainly something that for me stood out and was a key learning for me this year. Another one was about our school, and I think many of us in independent schools, where we're built on tradition, we're built on a long history, and sometimes a questionable history, or a marked history. But this idea that our school was incredibly open to the idea of change. We were really open to the possibility of looking at things a little bit differently because it would benefit our students. But then there was still some uncertainty about how to approach this and how to get started, and who should be involved, and where do we start and where do we end. And so for me, there was this mixed feeling of, appreciation of the openness of our leadership and board to make these changes, but also kind of excited and motivated by the idea that there still needed to be a process that was put in place to have this work unfold. And then I think most importantly, the learning I experienced about myself was pretty remarkable, and really led me to applying for the student life position, because I felt like I could have a broader impact than I was currently having in athletics and co-curriculars. And while I love and I'm super passionate about sports, this is my hill. This is where I can set myself and I'm prepared to die on this hill and push things forward, and be an ally and an accomplice for these changes. And for me, this is something that the idea of empowering and amplifying student voice and student experiences and the experiences of others in our community, for the betterment of our community, is super, super important. So for me, I learned that this is really where my heart is. This is my passion project. And this is where I can have tremendous impact and influence as a young woman, as a gay woman, as somebody who is constantly willing to learn and change and adjust and continue to challenge others. This is something in an area of our school, in an area of our society, that I feel I can have an impact. And I don't know that I truly understood where my passion was before I got started in this Cohort 21 pathway, but I certainly know that I'm there now after listening to so many incredible mentors and role models kind of lead us down that path. And my big takeaway is certainly that I feel like I now have the confidence to advocate for our students to have a voice and to be heard. And I've really had this shift, and I know it's been kind of on the back of my mind throughout my career, but certainly this shift of the importance of teaching content has taken a backseat to the facilitation of learning and learning alongside of our students. And that for me was a huge piece, and just a kind of an aha moment this year where, we knew that was the ideal way to teach, but when we're teaching about experiences and we're learning about experiences that people have had, you really have to sit down alongside your students and be a part of that learning. And you can't walk in with your privilege or your biases and impose those thoughts on others, and just how dangerous that can be. So certainly this confidence of being able to advocate for what I know is right in those situations. I've also discovered the incredible, powerful nature of Cohort 21, and the networking and mentorship opportunities that are available are just remarkable. And when you get into teaching and you're in the world of education, that everybody else around you wants to help, and we're teaching young people for a living, and we obviously have a nature, it's in our nature to want to teach and help and support. But just the impact that I felt as a fellow educator, alongside so many incredible Cohort 21 coaches and participants, was just truly incredible in a year that, so many people could have looked inward and done their own work and just gotten through. There was this just incredible group of people and community of people who looked outward and sought opportunities to help and guide and mentor. And for me, that was just truly a big takeaway, in the sense of understanding where we stand and where we lie in the greater pool of educators as well. So that was pretty amazing to feel. And then also just to finish, that the collective efforts are more effective than the efforts of one person trying to write a policy or make a change. So the idea of including others and having many voices and diverging perspectives and opinions on topics to really ensure that there's deep learning can just be so powerful. So this idea of the collective really kind of sunk in this year for me. And again, it's really difficult to summarize an incredible year and a difficult year for many and for all of us in one way or another. But I really wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of the organizers, the coaches, the participants who allowed Cohort 21 to continue in a really unique and powerful way. I know certainly as a younger educator who is incredibly excited about the future, this was an incredible program, and I look forward to being involved in any capacity in the future and encouraging all of my colleagues, whoever has the opportunity to get involved, that it's a remarkable experience, and it will certainly be life-changing in the way that you see education, in the way that you see coaching, in the way that you see mentorship and leadership, and just this idea that we can influence the shape and picture of what education looks like moving forward, and that's a pretty powerful thing. So I'm super excited to stay connected with anybody who is interested. Again, my Twitter handle is there, and my LinkedIn as well is there, and my email. And if you're interested in texting or calling, I'd love to connect and just stay engaged in these conversations. And I look forward to working with many of you in the future if those possibilities emerge. So thank you so much for a great year, and I wish you all the best.